all know, I'm sure you've heard that noise and news, excuse me, over the last several hours today. So
Second.
I hear a motion was made and seconded that we're going to postpone that until another time and, excuse me, tabled until another time. And that may be when I bring it forth, and it may not happen this legislative year as well. I'm not sure. So in any case, I do want to just take a quick moment of silence for Mr. Tataglia, who
Should we vote first?
walked these corridors for a good many years and worked on the License Commission for a good many years. Thank you on that. So a motion was made and seconded to table item number 4. All in favor? Opposed? That item has been tabled. I will also indicate to you that the mayor contacted me today, a couple of times, as a matter of fact, and he is unable to be present tonight because of school committee finance meeting. So he is presently at that meeting, so he is unable to be here. Also, our city solicitor is unable to, Attorney Megan is unable to be here as well, but one item that I believe, or a couple of the items she had talked with our legal counsel, Attorney Resnick, in regards to, so she'll be, talking on the behalf of those particular items. And we also have our captain who is with us this evening, who's going to talk in regards to, when we get to that item, I believe it's quickly too, I think, when we talk about the towing regulations, we will talk about that at that time, and he'll be present here to answer some questions as well. So, with that all being said, I think we have before us the first item, which is an ordinance amending the revised ordinances of the City of Brockton, Chapter 2, Article 3, Section 2-134, holidays be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton, that Chapter 2, Article 3, Section 2-134 of the City of Brockton City Ordinances be amended to include the Juneteenth or Juneteenth as a designated holiday. Again, the mayor is unable to be here, and Attorney Megan Bridges is not able to attend, either our city solicitor. So at this particular time, I think it's simple.
On the motion.
Been made and seconded on the motion.
Okay.
Councilor Castro.
So we're actually simply amending Section 2-134 by substituting this Section A, right? But the whole rest of it is staying in.
Right. Correct.
That's correct.
This just adds Juneteenth to your holiday list in the ordinances.
Okay. All right, that's fine. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
On the motion?
Councilor?
So, Mr. Chairman, you stated that our city solicitor had a conversation with our legislative counsel regarding this matter. So is it proper to ask legislative counsel?
Yes, I would.
What's the cost? I mean, for every employee to have this as a holiday, what's the cost?
I'm not sure, but it's now a federal holiday, and I believe that the city just observes all federal holidays. So it's just so that your ordinances matches the current federal holiday list. I don't know what the cost is, but perhaps that's something we can follow up with the CFO prior to final adoption, because this will come back for third reading and then another reading. So it's not up for final passage until the end of October.
Okay.
I'll put that on my follow-up list.
We can find that information out, as the attorney mentioned, but it more or less just falls in play with other holidays that the employees receive, federal holidays, because that's what it's.
And you said that, sorry, Mr. Chair, you said there's a limit, so a federal holiday comes with a limit, is that what you said, or what did you say?
No, it's a list. So your ordinances actually designate the federal holidays, and because Juneteenth was adopted as a federal holiday after your ordinance, this just adds it into your ordinance.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I see that Councilor Thompson is a little worried about the finances of the city, which we should all be, but in lieu of the fact that Brockton is now a majority city, and this holiday is a minority holiday, I think it makes all the sense in the world that, you know, even if it comes at a cost, that us in the administration of this city, and I say us as part of the government, that we owe it to the taxpayers of this community to go out and seek out the money to make it work in this city. So to me, it's irrelevant when it comes to looking at the cost of this particular holiday as, you know, I'm inclined to cut the budget in places that could be cut to make sure that this holiday is in the book, to be able to celebrate that particular day. So that's why I second the motion, and I'm going to continue to support that motion as we move forward.
Again, and
Thank you.
on the motion,
Counselor Thompson?
through you, Mr. Chair, to Councilor Rodriguez, my question was so that us as a council and the city at large would have a better understanding of what the costs, and then I have no problem with the Juneteenth holiday itself. Actually, I'm the sponsor of this ordinance, so I too agree that this is a holiday that should be celebrated throughout the city and throughout the country. My inquiry was regarding costs, and I think as the you know, the legislative body that's in charge of the financing of the city, it's a proper question to ask.
No,
Thank you, Mr.
I agree
Chair.
with you.
Any other comments? Motion was made and seconded. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. Now we go to item number 2, which is an ordinance amending towing regulations, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton, Section 12-28 towing. I believe this was put through by Council Monahan. I do want to indicate
Yes.
at the same time, when I spoke with the mayor this morning or this mid-afternoon, I asked him a couple of questions in regards to this particular item and indicating how important it was for he or for us here in the city. And I believe that his answer was that he is pretty much in favor of and following basis of information that's been given to him by our chief of police, Chief Goins, and our city solicitor attorney, Megan Bridges, has indicated that, you know, he really is looking to get this accomplished. We also have here our captain that's here in place of our chief, so if anyone has any questions to he, I'm sure he'd be able to take any questions, answer anything, or if he has a presentation he wants to make in place of the chief, may do so as well.
Good evening, councils.
Thank you.
I can just give you some background on the towing. Currently, there's 18 companies that the police use on a rotating schedule. The ordinance right now is 15. The number is down from 24, from about 25 years ago, to 18. So essentially, the new ordinance would add 2 companies to it. We have 18, there would be a maximum of 20, even though the ordinance says 15 right now.
And why, oh, I'm sorry.
We'll go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome,
Mr. Chair,
You're welcome.
I was sort of hoping the mayor and the city solicitor would be here. Because actually, they asked me to put this forward for them. And I think I'd just like to postpone it until we can get them there and get a full presentation. You know, with all the explanations and what's going on, because
Yes.
I think it's just
Well,
it's an important piece of,
Yes.
I won't disagree with you because when I had, and I will say this, the chief also notified me also before I came to the meeting, and I indicated that if there were gonna be some other questions and concerns, that we may take this and just, you know, put it in with our next meeting, and he had no problem with that either. So, at that time, then we'd be able to have, you're looking for him to be here, the chief to be here, and,
well, I'm the mayor,
then the chief.
chief, and the city solicitor.
Yeah, I mean, so it,
Forward basically by them.
right.
Mr. Chair, but, I mean, it's pretty,
Counselor?
uh,
Counselor, go ahead.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I mean, it's pretty clear what we're trying to accomplish here is add 5 more towing companies to the list. If I could ask you, Captain, would adding any additional companies to this list be a detriment or a benefit to the police department, and why, if either choice?
I think the greatest benefit would be that no company's been added to the list in over 20 years. So we get some new companies who have been waiting on the list access to being part of the towing system.
So the 18 so they apply every January 2nd?
Yes,
And just the police department, and you have a list of, more applicants than the 18 that apply every year, or how are they chosen?
the same companies that have been on the list get preference, and any company that on the waiting list would fill that if there was a vacancy under 15 currently.
And you're saying there's been no vacancies for 20-ish
As
years?
long as I've been on the department, there hasn't been a vacancy. Almost 20 years.
Okay. And so are these 18 separate companies?
Yes.
Again, gentlemen, I think it's pretty clear what we're trying to accomplish is add 5 more towing companies by ordinance to the list.
Right.
What questions need to be answered? I don't know.
I have questions.
Exactly why
I have
we're
questions.
adding more, what's the deal with,
Right.
that the other the companies are? Is there enough work for adding more companies? Why are we, I just wanted an explanation of
Yes.
exactly why.
Fair.
I do too.
Why are we doing this? Why, I know they, how you doing? Why you, I just wanted a clarification by, not necessarily, I did talk to the chief today, the mayor I did, and he hadn't got it back to me, but, and Megan, just why? Why are we doing this? Is there not enough, I've heard there's not enough work for the companies that we already have in there, so I just like, can you answer that?
I can't.
You can't answer whether there's enough work for the 18 that are currently on the list?
Well, I wouldn't know what's enough work for each company. I'm sure they want as much work as they can. Yeah.
Meaning, are all 18 companies called throughout the year for towing purposes?
Yep, they roughly do about 140 tows each.
A year?
Yes.
Times
If you add more
18.
companies, it'd drop down to about 125.
I would imagine this is to allow a little more fairness, we have more than 18 tow companies in the city. It's to spread the wealth, I guess,
You just took the word out of my mouth in the same word that the mayor presented to me too,
By
We
2
all have to
more?
Share the
2 more.
wealth.
By 2 more? You're sharing wealth by 2 more? I mean, it's not like, there's not a lot of sharing there, we're just adding 2 more.
So you're saying that we should be increasing it?
I'm just saying, if we are, again, through the chair, if we're increasing it, increase it to a point where there's some significance behind the increase, but to increase it by, just by 2, I don't see that as spreading the wealth. If some of these companies are having a tough time making it what they're doing already, I mean, to basically sustain their companies, keep the folks employed and all the other stuff. I mean, I was actually told by somebody that does towing in the city that there's weeks that they don't do much business at all, and they have their overhead and some of these other issues. So I agree with Council Monahan to find out from the mayor or from the solicitor, what's the reason behind this? I mean, does he have something specific that he wants to bring to us to say, because of, we've had so much demand and we need to increase the numbers or whatever the situation is, we just need to know what the mindset behind that is, because I've had conversations with folks who are in this business who feel that they're not getting enough business to sustain their fleet and all that other stuff. So
Sure.
if that's the case,
Nothing.
let's see.
She was doing it's on TV. Look at it.
I just figure that, it would be something for us to get a little more clarification so that we can, I can understand if the ordinance says 15 and we're doing 18, yes, we want to bring it at least 18 so that we are in compliance with our own ordinances, but why 20? Why not 24? You know, something like that. You know, if you want to spread the wealth, as you said, are we just spreading it by 2? Why 2, not 4, 6, or whatever the deal is? That's why.
Okay, understood. If you have questions to ask, then, and this is the forum in which to ask them, then it's proper to get the people in front of us to ask those questions.
Yeah, I thought the mayor would be here himself as well, too, so we can ask these questions, but I guess, he's at the school committee, which is perfectly fine, but I just think it would hurt us by postpone this to our next meeting, just so that we can get these points cleared.
That's fine.
Councilor Nacastro, do you have anything?
I thought I would, yes, thank you.
Was that the?
Captain,
Yes.
thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you.
In Ward 4, I've got a lot of tow yards, and this is a very controversial topic, who's listed on the tow list. And it's my understanding that sometimes there are several entries on the tow list that all belong to the same person or the same company.
Okay.
Have you heard that?
I've heard there some companies sharing locations.
Yes.
Since I've been in charge of towing, we haven't had an application process. COVID and other things have, we just kind of carried on. So I know there's some companies sharing a site.
Okay. And is it your understanding that when applications come in, when there are vacancies or openings on the tow list, there's investigation done?
We haven't had a new company
So you wouldn't have had that
entering
experience?
20 years, so we haven't
Okay,
done that.
thank you. I also feel that we need to continue this until another meeting when our other invited guests can be here, because it's really important to me that this tow list matter get ironed out, and that we have a clear understanding at the end of a meeting of where this has been and where it's going. So I support postponing it.
And if I could ask one more question, I apologize, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Thompson?
In our ordinance, it states that the chief of police may establish further written rules and regulations relative to the towing of motor vehicles in the city. Do you know if the chief of police has further written rules and regulations?
Yes, it's about a 12-page document that the companies agree to, setting everything from prices to what happens in certain situations, who decides if there's a dispute. That's in place. There's about 12 pages of,
Can we obtain a copy of it?
yes,
That'd be
Okay,
great.
you'll send it to all of us?
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor.
So I'll make a motion postpone the next one.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that we postpone to our next ordinance meeting. All in favor? Opposed? Postpone until our next ordinance meeting, and we'll entertain that the same people be invited, and we'll take it from that point.
Thank you,
Okay,
Council.
Captain?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a good evening.
Thank you. We go to our next item.
Marijuana, my favorite subject.
There you go. We have item number 3, ordinance, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton that the City Council adopt the following amendments to the ordinance establishing licensing and regulations for adult use marijuana establishment, section 1.0031C. Again, city solicitor couldn't be here, so we have our legal counsel, Attorney Resnick, who pretty much helped write the book on marijuana herself, so
It's her favorite subject as well.
that's right, yeah. So if we have questions and concerns, and I think this was filed by
Me.
Councilor Castro,
Yes.
correct? Okay,
Yes.
you first, if you could.
Okay. Attorney Resnick, may I ask you to just explain this?
Sure.
Because I worked with both Councilor Bridges and you in bringing this forward.
Yep, so when we just started to discuss the delivery side of marijuana, the law department and I kind of just split avenues, and they worked on the zoning, and I worked on the change to your licensing and regulation ordinance. Oddly enough, back in 2018, when it was drafted, it was at least partially anticipated that there would be some facet of delivery in the future. So to change your existing ordinances to comply with what the new state regulations are for deliveries was actually very simple. All that needed to be done was establishing the classes within your ordinance and then setting the fee for those license applications. So it's two small changes, but really what it does, it just identifies the license class and the fee. And then once that is done, applications can be drafted for those licenses. There are no, just so you know, the number of licenses that we have, I think there was 13 or 15, I forget what the council voted on, that only relates to retail. So these license classes do not have a limit.
Pretty straightforward.
Counselor Thompson?
So I'm looking at this fee schedule. What's the 500, 1,000? Like
Those
what
are just-
determines what you pay there?
That's just based off of what, they just made a sample class for all of them.
Oh, I didn't see this.
That's existing.
And why does this say 500?
We're adding these are new ones.
Oh.
Yeah, but just so you could see the heading, the fees and the annual fee.
So what goes over 500 on the grid?
Okay, so that's current, so what you're saying is basically that the application fee is 5 and the annual fee would be 1,000.
Right.
Correct.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, application fee, license fee.
Right.
Okay. And then we're adding these 3 additional uses, the 9, 10, and 11.
Correct, because those, so interestingly enough, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you're establishing in the fee schedule.
I have an extra.
2 of those were already in your classes. So that's why there's only 3 being added to the classes. And it is because the nomenclature that was used in 2018 has since changed. And so we are just adopting the license names and license classes that the CCC uses in its process.
Wheels? Okay. Hang on.
Counselor Nacastro?
Thank you. I wanted to point out to you, Attorney Resnick, that there are different section numbers. When I went to research the existing ordinances today, online, there are different section numbers that are related to these sections than what we have in our ordinance.
The one that is online, I could double check for you, but the one that I believe you're searching online is a draft. And perhaps not the formally adopted. But so if there's any changes to section references, I'll double check that after tonight and we can correct that before the 3rd reading. You could do a motion to amend to clarify.
Right, because our order says section 1.003 LC, but yet what I found online was 11-422. And I believe that the interim clerk has been updating what's online for the ordinances. So let's double check
We
that.
shall double check.
Thank you.
Yeah, so are you saying that this 9, 10, and 11 doesn't match up with,
Right.
Any
It
other,
doesn't- Yeah.
yeah, because this is 11-4.
Yeah.
Counselor Rodriguez?
And we're adding.
I am good. Motion to approve.
Second.
Favorable.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Motion's been made and seconded to approve. All in favor? Opposed? So approved. I believe that is all we have this evening. And our next meeting will be scheduled for October 26th at 6 PM right here in the council chambers, so any other business to come before the ordinance committee this evening? Everybody all set?
Yeah, we're all set.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion's been made to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? The meeting is
Did he say October
departed.
26th?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody that came here this evening, everybody that was listening at the same time.
So we're
Thank
just
you.
saying that these